the Christian Life Assembly here in Kigali. We just thought I'd take you on a little bit of a tour of where I work and where I spend most of my days. As you can see behind me is the church and the facility. We're on a 17-acre piece of property which we feel really blessed that the city donated to us a few years ago. On this property we have, of course, our main auditorium, which seats about 2,000 people. Our offices, the Wellspring Academy, which is a school which is right now going up to about grade 7, and every year they're adding a new year. We have our beautiful botanical gardens and the Health and Wellness Center, which is being built right now. And we're hoping that one day we can get a vocational training center, Lord willing, on this same property. Right behind me is the Wellspring Academy, the primary section of it. And this primary section right now goes up to grade 6, what we would know as grade 6 or primary 6. Just off to the left is the high school, which is beginning right now. Last year was their first year of S1 or Senior 1. In Canada we would call it grade 7, and every year they're adding a new year. Behind me is our container world. It's basically a collection of all the containers that have come to Christian Life Assembly over the years, starting with, in 1998, the first container came with the tent that the church met in for many years. And every year there's been a container or two coming. As a matter of fact, the sanctuary, the steel structure, came in 7 sea containers, and now they're forming part of this. We're hoping, our dream is actually one day just to cover this. It'll cost about $40,000 to put a covering over it, and this will house our mechanic shop, our welding shop, and also our woodworking shop, which we actually need to, with the ongoing construction at Christian Life Assembly. There's always something being built here. You'll see in many of the shots that we take today, a lot of people, a lot of men and women working around here just doing construction jobs. The work never ends here. Just right below our primary school is, and actually right beside our sports field, is actually our Health and Wellness Center, which is being built as we speak. As you can see, they're working on the 2nd floor already. On the lower level are going to be administrative offices and also some teaching rooms so that they can teach basic health to a lot of the people in the area. On the 2nd story is actually going to be a lot of the birthing rooms and some of the rooms where maybe some extended stay will be needed for some of the help that's being given to the patients. We're excited at where this project is right now. We're just at the early stages of it. We're still hoping that we can finish it soon. I mean, we're going to be running out of money soon, but we've actually decided to just go ahead and build it in faith that God is going to look after providing the funds that we need to complete this building. It's a great need in this area. You'll see just right behind the Health and Wellness Center is Nyabasindu, an area which will actually be the area that'll primarily benefit from this clinic because of the difficulty of getting health care, particularly for birthing. This clinic will provide that for people that are really in need of this kind of service. What you actually see behind me is basically what Pastor Elmer met up with when he first came here in 2000, 2001. A lot of bush, a lot of shrubbery, and a lot of just mess to negotiate through. Now, in building all the buildings that we put on this property, we've been able to keep most of the trees in place because if you look at some of the pans that we're showing you, the trees are very mature, and so we've actually kept the best of the agriculture on this piece of property. The original intention was to put right behind me where the dirt is, the vocational training center. It's quite possible that we may not be able to build this structure on this land because of some of the being pushed up from the river would make it quite crowded for us. So what we're going to be planning to do with the vocational training center, Lord willing, is put it on another piece of property which was donated to us just on the outskirts of the city. It'll actually save us maybe half the cost that it would to put it on this piece of property. But some of the other structures that will be going on behind me will be a sports facility, a covered sports facility, basketball courts, all for the Wellspring Academy. This beautiful garden that I'm on is actually our botanical garden. Kigali is a beautiful city, as you can see in behind me, but surprisingly enough, there's very, very few green space in the city. And we believe that we want to give back to what God has given us, and also back to the city a little bit. This is a great area for church functions, for youth functions, and even weddings. But really the main reason, we actually call it a botanical garden, but it's also our prayer garden. It's such a beautiful place just to come and to walk around and be in the presence of God. I mean, you could probably hear all the birds singing around you. It's just an absolutely beautiful area. And actually right around the whole premises, the whole property, is going to be about a 2-kilometer walk where people can come out and exercise. Again, for the city of Kigali, it's a very rare site because there's not a lot of opportunities to find green space. Wherever you go in Kigali, you see these beautiful rock walls. And our botanical gardens and all around the church, you'll see these rock walls as well. The amazing thing about it, because Rwanda is the land of 1,000 hills, and it's so true everywhere you go, if you want to build anything, you have to build these retaining walls. And our property is no exception to this. But each one of these walls is built by hand. You'll see men constantly with sledgehammers and a big rock pile just chiseling out these stones and fitting them into place, all by hand. So if you can imagine, I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of meters of these walls on our property alone. The potential goes far beyond the boundaries of this property. Christian Life Assembly is involved in so many other ministries. There's Mercy Ministry, which looks for housing and sponsors about 70 children around the city of Kigali to go to school, and also widows with HIV and AIDS are being looked after. We sponsor them as well. There's also the Sport Ministry, which happens in the tent where Christian Life Assembly used to operate when it started in 1998 till about 2006. There's many other ministries that the church is involved with. Of course, there's Wellspring Academy, and actually the Wellspring Foundation goes out to the whole nation of Rwanda and is in about 30 or 40 schools teaching teachers how to teach. The other thing which I also want to mention is the 3 church plants that we're involved in Nyabasindu and Umatara, which is about 2.5–3 hours outside of Kigali, and on the outskirts of Kigali in Busanza. Those are 3 church plants where people are getting saved. What you see here on this property is a small part of what Christian Life Assembly is involved in. God has been gracious, and we're looking forward to so many more things that God is going to do. This area here is actually the foyer, what we would consider the foyer back home. It's outside, but it's, we're in Kigali, and temperatures are average about 26 degrees, so this is where most of the people congregate before and after the service. And it actually, connected to it is our office wings. There's 2 office wings. On this side here is the administrative wing, and that's actually where I have my office, and behind me is where the senior pastor and a few of the other pastors also have their offices. This, of course, is the main area where I spend most of my time in training, and of course we have our church services in this facility. It's the main auditorium, and this has been a beautiful piece of architecture which was designed in the United States a few years ago by actually someone who attended Christian Life Assembly. The whole structure was designed in the United States and shipped over to Rwanda in, I think, about 2003. The whole structure cost about $170,000, if you can believe it. Now, it seats about 2,000 people. The shipping costs were probably about $200,000. 7 sea containers that it took to get the structure over here. But when all was said and done, including bricks and mortar and concrete and everything, the whole structure that we have our services in only cost just over $400,000. What a blessing it has been. Right behind our stage is all of our classrooms, is our Christian education wing. Now, when we built this church and moved into it in 2007, interestingly enough, there was plenty of space, but because the church has grown, we're quickly running out of space. Now, a lot of our Sunday school classes actually take place at the Wellspring Academy across the parking lot. This is our kitchen. It's a great kitchen designed to host large gatherings, and there's not a lot of buildings like this in Kigali where large functions like this can take place. We have a couple of conferences every year. There's a women's conference, a marriage conference, 2 pastors' conferences. This is just a great facility either to host them out in the gardens or in our dining hall. This is our dining hall, and of course it's not just used for a dining facility, but this room is also used for Kids Connection, which is our children's church program. Margaret's doing a great job. She started this kids program with a few other of the children's workers, and they had a children's church which ran from 4 to 5 initially with a handful of students. Now the ages go from 4 to 6, and every Sunday there's anywhere from 65 to 80 children. It's a challenge at times with that many kids, but as Margaret develops more leaders, the job becomes easier, and eventually the ages will also be raised where there'll be multiple classes as well. As you can see, this is a very large building. I'm actually standing at the back side of it, just off the dining hall and the kitchen here, and our Sunday school rooms are just above me. If you can imagine kind of a walkout basement in one of your homes back in Canada, this is kind of like that, because everything is on a hill in Kigali and in Rwanda. Again, it's the land of 1,000 hills, and the church is no different. It's built on the side of a hill, but you can see how large this facility is, and we're very excited about the potential going forward, what God is going to do with this facility.